They were taken to England, they were taken to Belgium, they were taken to Denmark, they were also taken to America and many other nations. So the blacks that ended up in America today who call themselves American don't even realize that they were not originally American. African Americans have a true heritage with the Elohim of Israel. They indeed are the Hebrew Israelites of ancient times. Brazil has a large number of Hebrew Israelites. We have America has a large number, and even Canada has Hebrew Israelites. So they were driven out, and we know from history that they ended up in African lands. And I would suggest to you very strongly that the Hebrew Israelites were black. The customs today of the African nations, you will find, was very particularly linked to Hebrew Israelite customs. Now, this may come as a shock to many of you. This may come as a shock to many of you because you've been taught that, you know, the children of Israel are in England and they are in Belgium and in Denmark, and they are the white folks or the Europeans. No, they are not.
Right there, that tell me there wasn't no bar. There wasn't no bar. Nigga, listen.
In fact, if you find the practices, one of the practices that the Hebrew Israelite customs has was a polygamy. The Nigerians, for instance, Christians, don't stop having two wives. They still have two wives, many of the people. Even though the Western Europeans reject the idea of having two wives and they want monogamous single relationships, you find that the Western people, including the American people, are stuck in their monogamous past, which was from the Romans and from the Greeks. People are happy with homosexuality, they're not happy with polygamy. Why? Because these people were never part of the Hebrew Israelites. They kept their customs, and they still sneer at the customs of Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites, on the other hand, they don't have a problem with single marriages or dual marriages. Why? Because they were Hebrew Israelites. These are part of the laws of the Bible. For instance, if you go to Ghana today, down here, you will find that the Ghanaians have a tribe called the Ashanti. The Ashanti tribe are from an area they identify in Israel called Ashan. Ashan is a Hebrew word that means smoke, and it relates to the burning. Why? Because when the Jerusalem was burning, these people left Israel and they ended up in these African regions. These Ashanti people, they identify their Almighty Creator as someone called Yeme, or they have the word spelled is N-Y-E-M-E, O-N-Y-E-M-E, on Yeme, but they don't pronounce the O and the N. So the Yeme, the word M, the letter M, is interchangeable in the ancient Ashanti language with W. There would be Yahweh. Yahweh is a term for Yud-He Vav-He, which many people pronounce like myself, Yahweh. Some of you pronounce as Yahuwah. However, that tells us something about the Ashanti people in Africa. Ashanti people are Hebrew people. They still have the custom of the woman separating after for the menstruation period, 7 days. They still have the custom of circumcising their children. But show me these customs in the Americans. Show me these customs in the British people. You won't find them. They don't exist. Because these people in the British Islands, in the American islands, the people who are today Americans, and I'm talking about the Caucasians, white people, they're quite happy to live monogamous lives, and they're quite happy to live in non-religious lives, such as women don't have to separate, they don't like getting circumcised. These were Hebrew customs, and these customs are despised in the West. So my friends, if you look at Isaiah chapter 11 verse 11, where Yahweh talks about bringing them out the second time, Yahweh says very clearly what lands He's calling them out of. He talks about the land of Mitzrayim, talks about Assyria. He doesn't say, I'm going to call you out of England. But I know that there are Hebrew Israelites in England in small numbers. There are Hebrew Israelites in America, possibly in larger numbers, being the black people and the black people who are mixed in with other people in America. So yes, Hashem, He will call many people out. Yes, He will. But the original Hebrew Israelites are black people. Yehoshua, our master, commanded us in Matthew chapter 15 verse 24, says, go and seek the lost sheep, the prostituting sheep of the house of Israel. If we are not doing that today, then our being in Christianity or whatever religion we want to call ourselves in is waste of time. Our goal and our mission is to go and teach Torah and reconcile those people back to the Elohim of Israel here. And if you're just, all you're doing is reconciling the people back to your denomination and denominational agendas and views, and the 38,000 denominations that Christianity has, then I'm afraid you failed the mission. You cannot be called a disciple of Yahushua, the Master. If you're a disciple of Yahushua, the Master, you'll be teaching Torah to the people. You'll be reconciling the people back to Israel. Yahweh even said so far that He will raise up people even when they're dead in those lands, and He will take them back.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakal Pradash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the video you just watched, and how what I believe is either a Moroccan or Egyptian man basically broke down who the true Jews were, right? And he also mentioned Brazil, Canada, and those other nations, but he didn't really get into the fact that the Native Americans and the Latinos are also Israelites, okay? Because again, when you go into the Latinos and Native Americans, we ourselves are actually, we go back to that same color. It's just that since we've been conquered, we all basically have been mixed in with different shades now, right? We're a lot lighter than what we used to be, right? If you go into the depictions of the Aztecs and the Native Indians when they were found here in America, they basically looked like so-called black people, right? This is why a lot of, silly two-third Israelites are pushing that whole blacks were here in the beginning and there was no such thing as Atlantic slave trade, because they think that the black people that were depicted here in the records of the Europeans that came to America were the actual so-called Negroes that later served in slavery. No, those were the northern tribes that were just as equally dark and had lighter shades as well. Okay, so let's read this. This is Hosea 1:10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living God. You see, because over here in America, in Mexico, Canada, right, basically all around the world, right, we're not told that we're Israelites. We're told that we're Latinos, Negroes, Indians, Cherokees, African American, Salvadorian, Brazilian, and so forth, right? We're American and all these different things, right? We're given all these different identities, everything but Israelites, right? When you see people come out, like celebrities, for example, like Nick Cannon and Kanye and Kyrie Irving out there saying that they're Jews, the media goes crazy, man. They start throwing up the anti-Semitism claims and everything, right? Because over here we can't claim to be the Israelites. Why is that? Because the people who currently run the world, Amalek, or as you would call them, the so-called Jews, they've built their whole empire of lies upon the false identity that they've claimed, right? Well, let's go and get this. This is Ezekiel 39:23. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hands of their enemies. So fell they by the sword. According to their uncleanliness and according to their transgression have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. And there you go. All right, that right there, we're going to finish this, but I just wanted to break this part down, right? Because you see, right now, everybody is starting, all these other heathen, all these other nations are starting to realize who we are, right? Now, a lot of them have known it through their families, you know, speaking about it, from this being kind of like one of those like unsaid, you know, truths, right? Now, you know, I'm talking about like the other heathen nations, like the Arabs, the Chinese, Japanese, and those people, right? Because they know who we are, right? When you get into like the, you know, historic books and records, there's a lot of evidence that shows who the Negro, Latino, Native Americans ancient history goes back to, that being the bloodline of the Israelites. Now, these people, now it's starting to become more of a common thing that they're actually saying that we're the Israelites, right? Just last week, South Park came out with a whole episode about the Jews being the so-called, you know, the so-called Jews being the fake Jews and the Negroes being the true Jews, right? And of course they made fun of it, but the fact is that it's now so prevalent that it's now going across the media, okay? So right now is a time when people are starting to realize who we truly are. And then what's going to come next is this. Now will I bring again the captivity of Judah, right? Our slavery, our captivity is going to be over. And have mercy upon the whole house of Israel. That's the northern and southern kingdom, right? The Negro, Latino, Native Americans. And I will be jealous for my holy name. After that, they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land and none made them afraid, right? So you see what's going to happen is little by little, the Lord's going to start removing these curses upon us Israelites, okay? And especially off of us who are performing the righteous acts, right? Or rehearsing the righteous acts, I should say, and are trying and are calling upon His name. Like, we're going to be the ones who are going to be getting the blessings, right? Be getting, you know, the so-called lucky streak, right? Which there really is no luck. It's either you're blessed or you're cursed. And we're going to be getting blessings, right? And eventually what's going to happen is all the other heathen nations are going to start seeing this, that us Negro, Latino, Native Americans, that we are now claiming our true identity, and we are standing up upon our feet, right? And then in doing so, they're going to realize that, hey, everything that they've heard from their families, from just around the bend, it has been true, that we are the Israelites. And they're going to know that we went into captivity because we sinned against our power, right? We started worshiping other gods. We broke the commandments that we were given, that we said that we would follow, right? And that's ultimately what's going to happen, right? See, but again, we're still at the phase where everybody's starting to understand who we truly are, right? This truth is still going out through the land. This is Isaiah 55:5. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and the nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai thy power, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee. Seek ye Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai while he may be found, call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And there it is, Akim. You see, what's going to happen is pretty soon all these nations who, like I said again, it's not that everybody in all these other nations know who the Negro, Latino, Native Americans truly are, but the thing is that that a large majority of them do. But it's going to come to a point where everybody, all these other nations, are going to eventually understand who we truly are, and then they're going to come onto us, because they're going to know that the Lord, right, the higher power being that created the universe, is dealing with us, and through us they are going to know the Lord, right? That's how the other nations are going to get to know and interact with the Lord. It's going to be through us, Israelites, right? We're going to be the kings and the priests for all the people upon the earth, okay? And what's going to eventually happen is that the Lord is going to in coming back to us, the Lord's going to, like it says here, He's going to abundantly pardon us for our sins and transgressions from going off, and this eventually will take part over all of Israel, right? Because again, for right now, this is really only going to happen to the 1/3 and the 144,000 of our people, right? Meaning only 1 out of 3 Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and anybody whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline will receive mercy because they've woken up to the truth. They've actually turned from doing, their wickedness of, even if it was unbeknownst to them, right? They've come up out of America and the American way, or even the worldly way, right? And they've now turned back to our power, right? To the Lord, right? And in doing so, they're going to be abundantly pardoned. They're going to be blessed, and they're going to be, receive the mercies of the Lord, right? And that's ultimately what we're doing this for, right? This is why, me and the other Akim out there, the apostles, this is why we're out there teaching. This is why you're out here, watching these videos, learning, so that we can receive that mercy, we can receive those blessings, and, Lord willing, receive that salvation, right? So I just wanted to show you, Akim, this video. I wanted to show you that the other nations, they're starting to accept what they've already known, for those that did know it, and other ones they're just starting to learn about it, right? This is why we're starting to see more of these testimonial videos from these other nations, okay? So with all that, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach Bardash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.